Good morning, it's the 4th of August 2023 and this is my trade plan for today. On my chart is the MES 1 hour, which is also the same as the ES chart 1 hour, and we're currently looking at a bit of news dropped at 8:30, which was non-farms payroll, and we had a bit of a reaction, so we pushed up, sold off, and we're pushing back up again. So I've got some levels in place. So today what I'm going to be watching for, we've got this 4500 psychological area, and let me just get my pen open. So this area around here is a psychological number, 4500. If we do push down, then we may not be looking for a bounce initially. I really want to get bounced at 44.93, which is a higher probability bounce area, and it's also a major hourly area as well. So on my screen, these solid lines are the major hourly bounce or rejection areas, and the dotted lines will be more intraday or less major, but places to watch anyway. So as we recap the last few days, you can see we broke down. We're in a downtrend, as you can see. We've been trending down, putting in lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and technically a equal high, another lower low, lower high, a lower low, and then yesterday we pushed up. We actually broke the high, pulled down, and that's where I drew the trend line in yesterday, and we were on a path of a trend change, but we were still unable to break through this 50 moving average. So until we break through that 50, I can't really say we're in an uptrend just yet, but what we're looking for is something like that. So putting in a series of higher highs and higher lows. So technically we've broken it and we are in a bit of a change of trend, but as you can see from this trend line, in the pre-market we broke down through it, then we had the non-farm payrolls number. We pushed up, retested this level and broke back down, and we're looking likely we're pushing back up through this level now. So I can't really say whether an up or down trend until we get into the market, so I'll be watching the hourly trend to make a decision. But the 50 moving average is still pointing downwards, and the 20 is basically sideways, slight uptrend. So let's go with a neutral bias. So we'll be looking for confirmation on any areas. So rather than buying the dip and then selling the rip, we need to get in a neutral mindset. So with that in mind, the levels I've got for today, we've got 4500 as a potential bounce, but if we do break down, we're back in a downtrend again, so maybe we could look for a break and retest. We've also got this 44.93, which is a better bounce area. So if we are looking for going against a trend on a bounce, then 44.93 would be a better area for a bounce, with 4500 as a possible target, and then obviously wait for confirmation on both trades. So if we are looking weak today, we may want to see a break and retest the low, and again that could be a break and retest the low of both of these levels. So keeping quite neutral. As for rejection levels, I quite like 45, 47, yesterday's high, in fact a pre-market high, and it coincides with this area here, and it's this red zone, so an area of supply as well. So 45, 47, more of a higher risk rejection, but we could see a rejection if we make a double top and come back down again. Otherwise I've got a higher probability at 45, 53, 50, so this solid red line, solid yellow line, and this solid yellow line is the major hourly. You can see it was the end of that Japanese news sell-off, and also a pivot there, so it's proven to be support previously, and now maybe it will be the ceiling or resistance again for a bounce, for a rejection. So, and that's it really. They're the two main levels. play the rest of the day by ear. We're still, even right now, the SPY was unable to break through that 50 moving average. So potentially we're still in a downtrend on the hourly until we do. It looks like it might do shortly though. So other areas of interest, we've got 45.83 if we get up here, and that's also the 200 moving average on the hourly. So this area here, and that's a potential rejection point as well. In fact, this entire zone, this supply zone, because we've got an area of tops and bottoms of candles, and we've got this pivot and this gap down area. Looking for natural support, then this volume profile tool, we've got the point of control running through the middle. So the point of control is at 46.05 area, and that's an area congested volume as well. So this area here. So if we are looking for a bounce, or if we're going long today, then 46.05 to 46.06 is a potential area of resistance. Quick look at the SPY. Similar chart to the ES or the MES. The break, it was still below the 50 as well, and the break above this yesterday, the pre-market high, could push it right into, which is 451.50 area, and 451.90 is a potential rejection off of the 50 moving average as well. And again, like in the ES, that is the low, that's an area of significance where it's the low of the Japanese sell-off, and it was a previous low as well. So 45.41 through to 451.41 to 451.90 is a potential rejection area around here, this zone. And then a higher probability rejection will be if we get to 456.50, 456.25, this area up here. So that's a higher probability, and it's it's green, but it's actually an area of supply right now, and it's concentrated volume because we've got the point of control, that yellow bar. So that's a good resistance area. And for bounces, again, if we're going with the uptrend, we'll be looking for a break and retest of this area as well. So not just a rejection area, but that's with confirmation. So looking at volume and make sure not to get in until we see an actual break and retest. For bounces, 447.37, which is the low, yesterday's low. It's a potential bounce area, but if we're showing weakness, it could be a break and retest. And again, like the ES and the MES chart, we've got this area at the bottom, these two double lines as potential resistance as support as well. So 445.25 to 445.75. So this area, and that is based purely on this area before where we slowed right down and we took a while to break through. In fact, we took almost a whole day to get through that area. So it could show resistance, could show support there, excuse me. And then of course we've got the higher probability daily, week and hourly point, this yellow solid line, which is the tops of these areas of, well, they were originally ceilings, but now they're the floor. So that's at 443.90. So basically 444 is what will be a higher probability bounce area, this area here. Okay, so looking at the Qs, again, I won't be very quick on this because it's facing the levels. I'll just quickly sum up the levels. So we've got a major area of demand. So looking at 370 to 370.64 as a potential bounce area. And again, if we're selling off, we might want to wait for the break and retest. And then our next major level is down here at 363.75, 364 area, which is also an area of high volume, congested volume as well. Which is tops and bottoms of candles, is an area of convergence, and it's also a bottom of that pivot as well. So 363.75 is an area to keep an eye on for potential bounce. That's a higher probability bounce. And for rejections, we can still look at this 374.30, 378.20 as higher risk bounces. We slowed down a lot there. We broke through, then broke up, slowed down, up, we came back down, retested it. So it is an area to keep an eye on. and we have got this condensed volume as well at 376.27 area, which is where we're coming into right now. And then higher probability rejection at 382 to 383, this area here. So worth keeping an eye on that, because the Qs seem to be quite volatile at points. And don't forget, we had earnings yesterday from Apple and Amazon is actually up, what's that, about 10%, 130 to 142 area. And Apple is where's Apple? Apple is actually down from yesterday. So two opposite. So maybe it would be interesting to see. Apple obviously drives the market a bit more, so maybe we could see a bit of a sell-off later if Apple sells off. And then NQs. Quick look at NQ. This is the Nasdaq, which is also based on the Qs. Exactly same. Higher probability bounce at 15,339, and a higher probability rejection will definitely be at 15,840. Maybe not today, but over the next few days. And one more chart I've been looking at is still futures, and this is oil. So I'm looking at the CL light crude oil futures on the hourly, and we've got this potential change of this potential uptrend, pushing up, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So it's putting in a bit of an uptrend right now, and we've got this double top we can watch out for at 82.43. So a potential bounce if we get up to here. And obviously if we break that down, we've got this area 76.69 and this area here of 80.60, which is obviously area convergence. It matches up with a few areas over here as well. Plus we'll have the 50 moving average as a potential support area as well. So we could see it pull back down and push back, and maybe a breakdown if we see something like that. So that's it really. Crude oil's a new futures I want to keep an eye on, because I want to diversify a little bit, not just look at SPY, because when SPY or MES or ES is getting a bit quiet, there's no volatility. Maybe oil might be the answer to flick between to have a look. And you can see we've had some big moving days on oil. Right, that's it. Hope you have a good day trading, and I will see some of you in the Discord room later. Take care.